Do the numbers just speak for themselves, or is there some kind of other motive for the filing at this time, Joey?
No correlation at all, Mike. You kidding? I'm being sarcastic, obviously.
That's $100 million each fight.
I would think close to $1 billion.
He probably is, but he spends like a mother. He probably has like a couple $100 million in jewelry.
This is what Floyd writes on his Instagram. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, especially when it comes to the media in this country.
Floyd Mayweather once proudly claimed he made over $1.2 billion during his career, but new reports paint a very different picture, with CNN highlighting concerns that the boxing legend may be facing serious financial pressure. Despite still showing off private jets, luxury homes, and expensive watches, insiders say years of heavy spending, poor investment choices, and increasing legal expenses are starting to take a toll, and behind the scenes there are growing rumors that he has begun selling off high-value assets to keep up with mounting debts, with some sources even warning that bankruptcy could be a real possibility.
Everything ends up this way. Well, everything does end up this way because people are surrounded by other people who make 10%, 20%, 5% on what the other guy brings home. So people are incentivized to push people to keep scaling and keep going and all eat when you eat. But I think it's very important for people to stand up and say, you know what? I don't think this thing needs to be that big. I don't think the valuation needs to get here.
Floyd Mayweather was once at the very peak of the sports world in terms of wealth, reportedly earning well over $1 billion from fights, endorsements, and appearances. But the massive income didn't last the way many expected, as instead of focusing on long-term security or careful financial planning, he spent as if the money would never run out, living a lifestyle filled with gold-customized private jets and garages full of luxury supercars, turning his image into a constant show of wealth and excess. And over time, the desire to be seen as the richest and most flashy athlete seemed to take priority over control and smart decisions, which now raises concerns that the same bold, money-focused image that once fueled his rise could be leading him towards serious financial trouble.
He's up there, bro. He's probably got to be at least $400 million. I mean, some of the purses from his fights are like $100 million each fight.
I would think
shit.
Close to $1 billion.
He probably is, but he spends like a. He probably has like a couple $100 million in jewelry. Have you seen like videos of his jewelry?
Yeah, some crazy. Let me see. Let me see what his net worth is. Mayweather net worth.
Them Googles be lying though. Huh?
They be lying? You think?
I think so. It's probably not accurate. I mean,
all right. Let's see what they say. I mean, exactly what you said. It says an estimated $450 million.
Yeah.
Richest boxer in the world. It's a lot of money.
Floyd Mayweather didn't just rule boxing with an undefeated record. He also made headlines for the huge money behind his fights, with his bout against Manny Pacquiao bringing in over $250 million and his blockbuster match with Conor McGregor earning a similarly massive payday, which helped him hold a reputation as one of the highest-paid athletes in the world. But instead of turning that income into long-term stability, he treated it like it would never run out, spending heavily on lavish celebrations, private jets for large groups, and multi-million-dollar gambling sessions that became a regular part of his lifestyle, ultimately using his fortune to support constant luxury and excess rather than securing his financial future.
Mayweather, the highest paid athlete, not the highest paid boxer, the highest paid athlete in the world. I had the opportunity and pleasure to be around him for many years. I was his personal shopper. I was a personal friend of his family. One of my greatest memories of being just lucky enough to even be around that environment was watching him train. Watching Floyd Mayweather train is a masterclass in discipline. It is a masterclass in work ethic. It is a masterclass in this is how you execute and get stuff done. Every rep, he hits it hard. There's not one lazy rep. He does everything at such a high frequency, so elevated. I'm like, goodness gracious, watching this man train, it's like, that's how I want to train for life. I've been to the club with Floyd where we leave in the club 3, 4 in the morning and he's still going to hit his 6 miles. He'll have all the cars follow him and he's running down the Las Vegas Strip, down back street.
Floyd Mayweather hasn't only run into trouble from heavy spending. His name has also been tied to several legal issues linked to questionable ventures, including a 2022 class action lawsuit over a cryptocurrency project that critics labeled a pump and dump scheme. And although the case was later dismissed, it still raised concerns about his habit of jumping into trending opportunities without fully thinking them through. And the situation escalated in 2024 when he faced another lawsuit over claims that he told a member of his security team to assault someone, with the accuser reportedly seeking more than $3 million in damages. And together these incidents continue to highlight risky decisions that may be putting even more pressure on an already shaky financial situation.
How did that happen in your life?
What things happen? I had 3 children with a young lady. we wasn't seeing eye to eye, you know, we wasn't seeing eye to eye. You know, she was a little upset, had a little alcohol in her system. She was a little edgy, and I told her, you know, basically I needed the keys to my truck. She was upset. She didn't want me to take the keys to the truck. So things got out of hand and blown out of, you know, they blow things up bigger than what things are really made out to be. So things happen.
But nevertheless, you had to do 2 months, right?
Yeah, I did 2 months for a misdemeanor, yes.
So what is it like to have everything and then not have freedom?
That's what I come to find out. Freedom is very important. Freedom is very, very important. And I'm just, you know, I'm happy to be free. I'm happy to be back, you know, and my children.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when speaking about Floyd Mayweather, criticizing what he sees as a careless attitude toward taxes and warning that no amount of money can save someone from serious trouble if they ignore obligations to the Internal Revenue Service, a point that has been proven many times before. And he also suggested that behind the flashy lifestyle and constant display of wealth, there may be deeper financial pressure building, adding that the pattern Mayweather seems to be following is one that has already led many high-earning figures into serious problems.
He owed that money to the IRS. How much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to
It's
pay.
neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money that there's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats.
Mike Tyson once earned hundreds of millions at the peak of his career, but eventually filed for bankruptcy after years of uncontrolled spending, blowing money on exotic tigers, massive estates, and even a gold bathtub without holding back. And now Floyd Mayweather appears to be heading down a similar road, showing off luxury cars, expensive jewelry, and lavish homes to the public, while behind-the-scenes insiders suggest his financial situation may not be as strong or secure as it seems.
It's your main man, Made Man, back at it again, and y'all know how I get down over here. We talking boxing. Now, I am fresh off watching episode 1 of the All Access of the upcoming fight between Floyd Money Mayweather and Marcos Maidana. Now, a lot of people may have gotten a lot of things from watching that episode. You know, it was real flamboyant. We seen Floyd Mayweather tossing his money around as always, talking about the Miss Jackson situation. We seen Marcos Maidana looking focused, more so focused on his baby and everything. So those are a lot of the minor takeaways. But my major takeaway from this whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, is I was quickly hit with a emotion of nostalgia. You know what I mean? Because seeing Floyd Mayweather with all this money and cars and clothes and hoes and yada, 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 it just kind of reminded me. There was a small segment in that episode that stated that a lot of fighters believe in their immortality. You know what I mean? We've seen this before. So the question I ask, we have seen this movie before. Boxers traditionally going broke. You know, they start off well, so flamboyant with all this money and all these cars, and they have businesses they invest in. They're something special, you know, at least in their minds they are. And then after either retirement or near retirement or after the fight game has left them, traditionally boxers go broke, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to Floyd Mayweather, but I swear on everything, man, I hope it doesn't happen to Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather is going to go down in the halls of history, ladies and gentlemen, as possibly top 3 to top 5 to top 10 of all-time greats. I mean, depending on how you view Floyd Money Mayweather. But however, he is definitely the #1 boxer of my era, ladies and gentlemen, of my time on this earth of watching the sport of boxing. No one has the skill set of Floyd Money Mayweather. Carve it up, chop it up how you like. Get on the debate about his opponents, all this other crap. We can have that for another video. But this man is going to go down in history as an all-time great without a doubt. And I understand the argument for those who may even present the argument that he's the #1 greatest of all time. I see valid points in that argument. I don't agree with that, but I see valid points in that argument. This is a great boxer. We are going to miss Floyd Money Mayweather when he leaves the sport, ladies and gentlemen. But
Floyd Mayweather has often shared advice about making smart financial moves, even talking about a buy low, sell high strategy in real estate. But his own actions seem to tell a different story, because while there's no question about his greatness in the ring, His defense, timing, and sharp strategy made him one of the most dominant fighters ever, and retiring undefeated is something only a few athletes achieve. Success in boxing doesn't always translate to success with money, and outside the ring his careful discipline appears to give way to impulsive spending and risky choices, which stands in clear contrast to the control and precision that defined his legendary career.
People hate consistency when it comes to teams that you don't like and not a fan of, and they constantly win all the time. The Patriots went through the same thing. Small example, I'm gonna just take boxing for instance.
Right.
Floyd.
Yes.
Everybody loved when Floyd was winning early in his career.
Yes.
But when he kept winning,
yes,
he became the villain.
Yes.
And then everybody paying in and tuning in to see him lose. Right. That's it. Yes.
Even within his own family, concerns about Floyd Mayweather's financial decisions have come to light, as his uncle Jeff Mayweather admitted in an interview that he finds Floyd's behavior hard to understand, especially when it comes to how he handles investments, pointing out that Floyd often jumps into business ventures without a clear plan and seems to be driven more by ego than careful thinking. And while he makes bold claims about success in real estate, those moves have raised red flags among experts who know how unpredictable and risky that market can be.
No idea. I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily see Floyd very much, so we don't really get a chance to talk very much, and so I don't really know what's going on. I know he's doing things that, to better his life, like, buying homes and buying, different things. And so, I don't know exactly what he's doing. So, I haven't seen him in quite some time. And I haven't heard about him talking about doing any more exhibitions. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, I don't know, but I haven't heard anything.
I know that KSI's team would be happy to make their fight with him.
Floyd Mayweather's ongoing issues with the Internal Revenue Service are being seen as a major red flag, with reports claiming federal officials had earlier advised him to sell off properties and clear his tax debts, advice he reportedly ignored, a move experts view as highly risky. And when the IRS begins taking steps to seize assets, it usually points to serious financial mismanagement. So by not dealing with his tax problems directly, Mayweather may have only increased the pressure on himself, putting both his wealth and public image in a more vulnerable position.
In fact, reporting. You guys all seen the headline saying Mayweather needs money, Mayweather has problems, Mayweather needs Conor McGregor. Well, the truth couldn't be further. Let me tell you, Floyd Mayweather just posted this on his Instagram, and I know it's true because anyone who was around Floyd Mayweather back after the Pacquiao fight in 2015 saw Mayweather with the $26 million paycheck for the IRS. And this is what Floyd writes on his Instagram. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, especially when it comes to the media in this country. While everyone is counting my money and assuming the worst, these are the facts. Uncle Sam received $26 million from me in 2015. What else could they possibly want? I'm sure I would have been notified much sooner if there were any real discrepancies, right? Bottom line, everybody just wants to be part of the Money May show, including the IRS. That's fine. You can crunch numbers all day, but in the end, my empire is rock solid and intact. Now calculate that. Hashtag TMT, hashtag Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather eventually addressed the growing tax rumors by stating that he had paid $26 million to the Internal Revenue Service. But instead of putting concerns to rest, the announcement led to even more questions, with people wondering whether that amount covered his full tax debt or if it came too late to avoid bigger consequences. And some observers also pointed out that the timing of the statement seemed less like full transparency and more like a way to manage public perception, while critics argued that the move may have been aimed at controlling the narrative and reducing speculation about his overall financial stability.
By showing on Instagram $26 million, a payment he made to the IRS. By the way, nothing makes your tax payment look shadier than when you're just holding up cash.
Right.
That's not a good look for the IRS. But he showed his actual, $26 million.
Then just pay him. Like, I don't know why, he's mad at the media. It's like, oh, you guys are making things up. No, it's leaked that you asked to pay after this fight. Like, you make all this money. If I was Mayweather, not only would I pay them on time, the IRS, I'd tip them. I'd be like, hey, here's what I owe you. Here's a little bit. Get your woman something nice, all right? How was Christmas for your kids? Oh, you're Jewish? Convert just for this Christmas. Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather recently announced a major real estate move, saying he spent $42 million of his own money to buy 62 properties in Manhattan without any outside investors. But despite the bold claim, the announcement has been met with skepticism, as critics point to his ongoing legal and financial concerns and question whether the details fully reflect reality, with many experts suggesting that the timing and scale of the purchase raise doubts about how strong his actual financial position really is.
$2 million. This substantial investment was made through his real estate firm, Vada Properties, and is intended to expand his portfolio in New York City real estate market. Mayweather has expressed that this purchase holds significant personal meaning, reflecting his humble beginnings and desire to provide affordable housing options. He stated, growing up, I used to dream about owning just one home by myself. When you work hard, you can achieve anything. However, it's important to note that while Mayweather has announced this acquisition, some reports suggest that property records do not yet confirm the transfer of ownership. Experts speculate that he may have acquired a minority stake with options for future.
Instead of easing concerns, the announcement has only increased skepticism around Floyd Mayweather's finances, with critics saying that if the claims are true, they could suggest serious financial overextension, as his constant push for luxury, from exotic cars and designer watches to expensive jewelry, has been described as a major concern, while insiders allege that his spending regularly exceeds what he brings in, creating an ongoing imbalance. And when the added burden of taxes on such high value purchases is considered, observers believe it may be putting even more strain on his overall financial stability.
Floyd Mayweather is about to pay $2 billion to purchase a sports team and may never have to pay taxes again. The tax code offers these super wealthy so many methods to erase their income through deductions, and none is better than purchasing a sports team. Buying a sports team is like buying a unicorn real estate property. The value is always going to go up, the owner is going to make money, but on their tax return, they're going to use a strategy to report that they're losing money. You see, the owner is actually allowed to write off the entire cost of the sports team against future income. This will allow Floyd to pay less in taxes. It's called amortization, which is very similar to depreciation. But if Floyd ever decides to sell the team, then the taxes will be owed. Who cares then? Because the taxes he was supposed to pay during those years, he's going to take that money, reinvest it for personal profit. See you, Floyd. Hit your boy up if you need help with taxes. My name is Duke, and I make taxes very easy to understand. Give me a follow to say.
Floyd Mayweather recently made headlines for an over-the-top trip to Mexico in an armored tank, a choice that stood out even by luxury standards, where most people would use private jets or high-end SUVs, and the move appeared to be less about practicality and more about creating a spectacle, drawing attention for its sheer extravagance. But critics say moments like this highlight a growing focus on showmanship that can overshadow financial discipline, raising questions about how balanced his approach to money really is.
Floyd Mayweather, like...
Well, I don't say kidnap, but you know, you got your passport taken. You can't come and leave when you want to go, but he ain't in jail, so
okay.
He's out in a 6-star hotel being Floyd, so I guess it ain't that bad, but we'll see. We're going to watch and see like everybody else.
That's crazy. I mean, when you think of Money Mayweather, you thinking like Floyd may have like $1 billion or something.
He did. He made $1 billion plus. Floyd made a lot of money. And I don't really know Floyd's business, so I'm not going to speak on Floyd's business. But Floyd's very, very, as the world knows, he's money made, very flashy. Look, man, you know, we both made some real money. But, you know, you start burning through, you make $2-3 million a year, you burning through $100,000 a month. You ain't really got that much money.
Shit, he probably spending way more than that.
No, I'm talking regular dudes. We say we made $3 million, we burning through $100,000 a month. We really don't got no paper like that saved
that's
up.
A fact.
So even if he's making $100 million, if he's burning through $5, $6, $7 million a month, you still got taxes, you still got responsibilities. So I don't know nobody's bag, but you know, me and you, we real. Yeah. We never count nobody's paper. So not at all. I hope he got $10 billion. And I hope he get out of his problem.
That's a fact, because you would figure he should be able to just cash him out, like whatever the tab is. You know, he should be able to wire that.
I think he could do that with no problem. I think he got all the money in the world. I think
Floyd Mayweather is widely known for his extreme luxury lifestyle, especially his multi-million-dollar watch collection, which he frequently displays on social media, showing off diamond-studded timepieces that attract attention and admiration from fans. But financial analysts argue that these kinds of purchases are very different from real investments because luxury watches typically lose value as soon as they are bought, meaning what looks like wealth on the surface may actually be more of an expensive display of excess rather than something that builds long-term financial value.
I need you guys to watch me talk about my watches. Right here, I got 3 cases, and they're all full with watches. So when I travel, I like to take, if I'm going for 45 days, I like to take 45 watches with me. I like to have options. So everybody's always asking me, what's your favorite watch? Well, one of my favorite watch brands is Avi & Co. As you can see right here, I got this a few months back, and it's one of my favorite watches. One of the best brands in the world. That's just my personal opinion. I like the brand so much, I went and bought another watch just yesterday, Avi & Co. As you can see, Avi & Co. Now, let's talk about watches, let's talk about jewelry, let's talk about a few things. I need you guys to watch me talk about my watches. So we'll set this to the side. Now, we want to give the people an appetizer or something light. So we give you 2 appetizers, then we give you a main course. Just a few watches that I got while I travel. So check this out. We're gonna go here first. And of course, the company is Avi & Co. Crazy company. Now, I need you guys to come closer and check this out. So let me come to you guys.
When it comes to business, Floyd Mayweather has faced criticism for a mixed track record, with many pointing out that he often seems to chase quick profits instead of making carefully planned decisions, getting involved in ventures that later drew controversy, including questionable cryptocurrency projects and promotions that didn't succeed as expected. And this pattern has led observers to describe his approach as impulsive rather than strategic, while financial experts emphasize that long-term wealth usually requires discipline, planning, and consistent responsibility. Qualities critics say he hasn't always shown, which has fueled growing doubts about whether his financial foundation is as strong as it appears and raised concerns that without a major shift in approach, his legacy could be viewed not only through his undefeated boxing career, but also through the lens of wealth that may not have been managed wisely over time.
Yeah. I think it was like a $5 or $8 million 5-fight deal or something like that. You have to check the numbers, but he turned that down to start his own promotion. And when he was with HBO, he worked out that deal to do the 24/7 where you can see the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That was right around the time when reality TV was getting big.
Yeah.
So you didn't have social media then. People began to build and know Floyd off of the 24/7.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, my wife even became a boxing fan from watching the 24/7s.
Yeah.
So the timing of him becoming his own boss, which you're going to make.
That's the end of today's story. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates coming soon.